Okay, NVR Mock 13, question 1, NVR rotations. So with these ones, it says we have to rotate the picture on the left, and basically I believe what's going to happen is all of the options are going to be reflections, but one is going to be a rotation, and we have to choose the correct option. Either reflections or just a completely different shape, right? So we have to choose one that is actually the correct shape. So you can see it can't be option A here because the arrow is white, so we can cancel that out. It can't be B because the arrow is in the wrong place. It can't be C because if you try and rotate this, when it's on this side, the arrow should be, or if you can imagine, if you call it a flag, it should be pointing upwards, whereas it's pointing downwards here, meaning it's actually a reflection. It looks like D works and E doesn't because it's got two circles, so the answer here is D. Question 2. If we rotate this hasn't got enough lines. You can see it's only one line here. This section, the outer ball should be white, whereas the inner ball should be black, so it can't be B. Again, this is in the wrong position. These circles should be around, actually no, that does seem to be alright. It could be C. Let's look at the other options. It can't be D because if you look at this area, that's different. It's not the correct shape there. And with this one looks a lot easier, much more similar to this. So we have to figure out first of all why it's not C, just so I can circle E. So it looks like it's the square, right? So this has the flat side, it's pointing towards the flat side of this shape. Whereas here you've got the pointy side pointing towards the flat side, so it can't be C. So answer option E is the answer. Question 3. Okay. So it can't be A because this should be on the right side. You can see this shape is on the left side here. If we look at option B, that seems to work so far. Option C, the lines are in the wrong way, so we can cancel that. Option D, the circle is in the wrong position. It has to be underneath the shape, right? Option E, these lines are way too short. They should be much longer. So B is the correct answer there. Question 4. This is the box here is in the wrong way. It should be like an X, right? So we can cancel that on. This one, the corner should actually be on the right. If you rotate it, it'll always be on the right, top right. So that should be crossed. You can see this reference point, right? The corner is always above the gap. Option C. This should actually have this, and then the box should be coming out here. There should be a gap there, right? So it can't be C. Again, the corner is not above the gap, so that leaves us with E. Again, this is the corner and this is the gap, and they always should be right above each other. Question 5. So if we rotate this flat side, right, or this curved side should be the opposite of this curved side. So you can see it can't be A because the curved sides are in the same position. It should also have the black half of the circle should be next to the diamond, right? So it can't be B because those are in the wrong position. Additionally, if we keep rotating, right, actually it can't be C because it doesn't have the flat, right? Remember that we have the flat here. Okay, so we've got D or E. With E, diamond isn't in the right position. It has to be next to the black circle, so that leaves us with D. Question 6. Now, NVR 2D view. Which of the answer options is a 2D plan of the 3D picture on the left when viewed from above? So So you can see A is the correct one. If you look at where the actual blocks are stacked, they're in this format, right? And even though there's some of them are taller, if you're actually looking directly from the top, you'll only see this sort of shape. So let's look for this one. A good way to look at this is if you can see like these shaded areas, these are the parts that you'll be able to see, because obviously you can't see this because it's directly underneath this. So we got this. So it should be 2 here, and you've got this one. You've got 1 here as well. So it should have a diagonal like this. Actually, and then it also should have this 3. This is quite difficult actually. Let's have a look again. I'm not sure if they've rotated it or not. Yeah, so it looks like they've rotated the option. Actually, no, they haven't. So we've definitely got this corner, and if you look at this 1, 2, 3, so there should be an area on one of these where we've got 3 in a row. At least that's what I think. Oh no. So this is 2 and then to the right, so it should be like, I believe. So I've just drawn it out. This is what I think it should look like. You've got 1, 2. This is actually in line with the back. Which is actually, it looks a bit weird. It looks like it's a... Okay, so I can see it. It's very difficult to see, but this is on top of this, right? This is very difficult to see, but you can see this is a gap. This is on top of this, and then of course, so you're not going to see this one. This is going to be like this. You're going to see these two. You're going to see these two. You're going to see this. You're going to see this one as well because it's outside, and you're going to see this one. So actually, it will be like this. You see this two, this, so it'll be basically like a straight line, and you'll also see, I believe this is one here. So it should be something like, so 2 squares here, which we've got. You got the 2 squares here. I'm actually going to number them just so it's easier to visualize for you guys. So if we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the only ones we're going to see. So this is 1, 2. This is 3, 4. So it can't be that because it should have 5 right underneath it. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got 6 and 7 here. So that leaves us with option C. So if you're struggling with these ones, that might be also a good way to do it, which I'll do with question 7. What you want to do is first of all figure out which ones are we going to be able to see. So again, these ones sometimes, because of the way they're drawn, like you might think that this is actually connected to the corner, right? You might think, oh, this is outside of it, but it isn't, because if you actually look behind it, you can see this is in line with this. They're in the same angle, right? It's like this, right? That means this is just on top of it, and the reason why it's grey is because it's got a shadow of it, right? So if this is on top, then you're not going to see this. You're only going to see this one, which I'm going to number as 1. You're also going to see this and this. 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we can imagine it. It's basically just like a horseshoe, which is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Option A is the answer. Question 8. So these ones are a bit simpler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to see all of those. So we'll have, let's see, we'll have 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming they've rotated it. You can see there. So we've got here 1, 2, 3. So it's rotated a bit. Sorry, not 3. That should be number 4. 1, 2, 4. This is number 3. This is number 5 and number 6. Hopefully that's easy enough to visualize. Yet if you rotate this a bit, you can see this sort of like diagonal that we've got here, right here. So answer B. Question 9. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is quite simple. Again, if we got 1 here, 2 next to it, 3 down here, and then 4 diagonal to it will give us C. Question 10. Let's go 1. This won't be seen because it's above it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got this straight line, and we've got a Z, like a Z formation underneath. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and we've got the Z. 5, 4, 6, 7, and then this shape shouldn't be here. I don't think so. I don't think it can be C. Let's try this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one works, and you can see there should be a gap here because there's no squares right here, which is this gap. So answer E is the option. Alright, question 11. NVR 3D building blocks. One group of separate blocks has been joined together to make the pattern of blocks. So let's have a look which blocks could make these. So I can see immediately there is a long block here that we need, a small block, and then this might be an L shape. But let's just look for any of them that have long blocks and small blocks. It looks like E doesn't have a long block. All of the rest of them have this block, so we can cancel out E. I think that this could be an L. If we have an L sort of shape here, that would be perfect. And then we'd need another small block and another maybe small block. So we've got small block here, small block here, small block here, L shape and a long block. To me it looks like A works. I'm just going to double check the other options to make sure I'm not making any mistake here. So with this one, we've got the L block in there, long block, small block, and then, okay, this one. So I believe, if we look at this, one group separates a block joined together, pattern of block shown on the left. Some of the blocks may have been rotated, circled to the left, I believe. Alright, so it doesn't specifically say it, but I believe I'll add this to the section, but I believe on these questions you have to fill out the gaps. So the reason why it can't be A is because there would be a block floating, right? We can't have a floating block. We need this one to be slotted in, turned vertical, and put in there. So B would be the correct answer option there. Question 12. We've got this L shape right here. Another L shape, it looks like, that is connected to it. So we have two L shapes. So I think I'd stick with either C or D for this one. And we've got a small block here, a small block here, and a small block behind it. So just two L shapes and 3 small blocks seems to be the best answer here, option D. Okay, and now we've got a T shape here. We've got this T. We've got we've got a straight line here, and we've got a smaller line, and we've got another long 3 block long line. So we've got 2 longs and 2 mediums, and to me that looks like A. You got actually, yeah, that's 2 mediums and 2 3 block long lines, and also a T shape. Can't be B because it doesn't have a T shape. It can't be C because it doesn't have a 2 block long line, right? Because this is a 2 block long line, we'd need that. And it can't be D. This L has nowhere to go really. It could go here, and then we've got the T, and then we have the 2 block long line here, but it doesn't have a 3 block long line. Can't be that. And again, this one, it's got 1 2 block long line, but then this third one would have to fit in here, and that wouldn't work because we've got a T already here. So we have option A as the answer. Okay, we've got here a small block, a 3 block long. When I say 3 blocks long, it's basically, if you put 3 of these ones, you'd make this, right? So you got 3, this one's a 2 block 1, it looks like, or even just a 1. This is definitely a 2 block long 1, and this is also a 2 block long. So we've got a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 1. This actually could be a 3 if it's behind. No, it would have to be a 4. That would be a very long block. Trying to think here. We need a 3 block long, right? So it can't be A, it can't be B, it can't be, yeah, it can be either of these 3 now. Now I don't think there's any position for the T to go in, a T shape to go in, so I don't think it can be C. It could have the L shape. This could be an L shape right here, and then this could be another L shape, and then you could have a single block and a single block. Now it can't be T because you'd need a single block here. You need 2 single blocks actually. So let's see if E works for this, or I might have made a mistake. So we've got the 3 block long here. We got this one, I believe it goes in the back. So you've got this is the second. So we've used these 2. You've got this one right here, which goes here, and then you've got this circle, this one that goes here, and this one that goes here. Now, to me, I see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I probably made a mistake, and also there's no line here, so I do think this is going to be an L shape. So let's keep going actually. So I think it's going to be an L. See, this one's got an L right here. Ah, right, I can see where the T could go, so this is going to be a T right back here. If you look at this, that's the T shape. This is an L shape, right? And you've got a square here, and then the 3 blocks at the front. So, which one has got that? A T, L, square, and then, yeah, there we go. Option C has got all of that. So hopefully that makes sense. You've got a T at the back, L here, square over here, and then a long, this long one right here. Okay, question 15. We've got the L shape down here. Probably a square as well, so we need an L shape and a small square. All of them have that. We need 2 small squares because we've got one up here as well, so it can be C, B. It can't be A because it doesn't have 2 small squares. Actually, let's not cross out yet because there could be some other way that this block comes here. Alright, and then we need a 3 block long shape. This works because this one's 3 blocks long as well. So what I'm thinking with A is it's got this long L, and it's got the small L here at the back. And that would make the back shape, I believe. And we've got 1 and an L shape. Yeah, we need 2 L shapes, so I don't think it can be A there. So this one, the 3 block long will go here. The small block will go here, so we can cancel these 2 out. And then we have the L shape that goes here. We've used that. The small block goes here. We've used that. And then the 2 block long will go here, but then you're missing this small block right at the back. So let's cancel out B. With this one, we've got the L shape that goes here, the small block and the small block, so we've used those 2. Then we've got the long one right here, and then this one again doesn't make the cut because we need something that we need like an L shape at the back, right? Alright, we're on to option D now. We've got L shape here, L shape at the back, so we can use these 2. This small block is up here. This long one is over here, and I think what's probably happening is, yeah, we've got this 2 length block. It's being rotated and put through the middle, if you think about through there, because there'll be a gap. There's an L here, right? There's an L in the front, and then it's going right underneath it through the gap like a tunnel. So I think D is the correct answer there. And I think we already went over why it can't be E. Alright, so question 16, NVR analogy. Look at the two sets of shapes on the left connected by arrows and decide how the first shapes have been changed to create the second. Now apply the same rule to the next shape and circle the letters beneath. So this is as usual. Well, actually with these NVR analogies it looks like they've given you two example shapes rather than just one. So it's a bit easier to actually figure out a rule. So if you look at what's happening, it looks like this is getting cut in half into this and made into like a triangle, right? Then it's enlarged. So let's do that immediately to this one, because that happens to this as well, right? So we know that's the case. So it's either going to get cut like this, I think probably cut like that, just because that's the angle that we've got with all of them. So that means there should be an enlarged rectangle, so not this one. Also the position should be in this area, right? Now, what else happens is these ones go inside. So the left one goes inside, and then one of them gets bigger, right? So there should be a small square inside and a bigger square on the outside. Now this is a circle, so it can't be D. That leaves us with A. Alright, question 17. It looks like this is rotated 90 degrees to get this shape. And then one line is put below it, and that's the same thing that's happening on this bottom one as well. So let's rotate it 90 degrees. It can't be B or D, it's pointing the wrong way. And then we put these zigzag lines, we put one of these below it. Oh sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. We put these lines, one of these ones below it. It looks like they should still be pointing the same way, so that means we should have 3 of these humps, and this has only got 2 humps, so it can't be A. These ones are fine, the only difference is the lines. So the lines should be staying the same if you look at these. So if we got diagonal lines, it should actually be going upwards if you look at these ones. So answer option C is the correct one here. Question 18. Now we've got circle. So we've got all of these shapes turning into semicircles, all of the ones inside, and same one with these. Again, it's getting cut in half the same way that we sort of did it before. So these ones should get cut in half. The triangles, right? And that should give us something. Cut this in half. Should give us another triangle, really. So I'm a bit unsure why all of these options, a lot of these options seem to have pentagons. There definitely should only be 3, so you can see 3 circles turn into 3, 4 turn into 4, so it shouldn't be A. It should have lined white and black. It seems to go from the top to the bottom, so you got top left, bottom left, and then it goes this way. And you can see the same thing, it goes clockwise, so it should go white, black, and then stripe. White, black, stripe. Now that leaves us with only option E. So I think what's actually happening here is not the shape inside getting cut in half, but actually the shape outside getting cut in half. So if you look at the outside, it's a circle that gets cut, and same with this. Sorry, it's probably down the middle. So if we cut this one, that's the shape we get. Or perhaps it's probably cut in a different way. Yeah, it's cut like this. And we only know that because all the options are showing that shape, right? So that's why it should be E, because again, we figured out the color order. It should be white, black, and striped, because that's how the order is going, clockwise. Sorry, anti-clockwise. And that pretty much leaves us with E as the answer. Question 19. You got a plus. The plus goes to the back and turns black, and it also rotates a bit. All of it rotates. So let's rotate everything first. So this also rotates. So if you rotate this, we should have a plus symbol rather than a cross symbol. So let's cancel out E and C. Now this should go to the back and it should take on the color of white, which the only option that's got that is actually D. Alright, question 20. In each question there is a big square on the left with one small empty square. This is matrices. So what we have to do is fill in the blank. Let's look for a pattern. So with matrices it can go something like this, like the order. It's a bit like a series, right, from left to right. It could also go diagonally. It could snake around, right? So we have to figure out which order it's going, right? I see that it's got 1, 2, 3 circles, 1, 2, 3 stripes, and then if you look at it, you can see it's got this sort of diagonal shape. So this should be black. This is both striped, and this is both circles, right? So that's gives us black. Again, you want to figure out the direction that, like, we've got a series going on in this matrices. So again, I see similarities here. Looks like we've got 2 triangles in this, 3, and then 4. We've got 1, 2, 3. So I assume this is going 0, 1. We should have 2 triangles in here. So you can cancel out all of the ones that don't have 2 triangles. And let's look for what else is changing. I see 4 circles, 3 circles, 2 circles, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4. It should have 3 circles now. So that leaves us with option A. And again, with these ones now, you saw that the pattern was going downwards rather than like diagonally. So with this, we got line. I think it's going sides. So if you see, these are all diagonals, these are all the same sort of line, straights, and these are all straights. So if we look at what's missing, it looks like it flips, and then it goes back. So with this one, it rotates 90 degrees, and then it rotates 90 degrees. So this is going to rotate 90 degrees to get here, and then it should go back to flat, in my opinion. And that gives us option E as the answer. Question 24. Big, small, smaller. Big, small, smaller. Big, small, smaller. So it's going left to right here. So it should be the small white square. Question 25. It looks like to me it's going left to right here. You got the 7. It's moving along the conveyor belt, so it's going to go all the way to the top, and then it's going to go to the middle, right? So this one, the H should go to the top, and then of course on the last one it's in the middle. So H at the top is only B or C. Now the triangle should stay the same direction, should be pointing down, so that leaves us B because C is pointing upwards. Question 26. This one's quite simple. It's less of like a, well, you can look at it if you, with the four-sided, it's usually something like this. The pattern goes from here to here and here to here, so it's like an analogy, right? You look at what's happening from here to here, it's just getting reflected. So if we reflect this one, that will give us option E. And the black triangle should be on the top right. Question 27. If we're going left to right here, this gets flipped, and then it gets rotated again. It looks like. Yeah, so it gets flipped once, and then it rotates 90 degrees. And that's the same here, flipped, and then rotated. So let's flip it. It should be a man like this, right? The stick man should be going, so it should be 2 straight up, and then it gets rotated on this last one. So option E is the answer. Question 28. This is definitely going left to right. You can see this is first of all rotated all the way down here, which is like it looks like a 135 degree rotation. Like, oh no, yeah, 100. It's like, if you think about it, it goes 90 degrees and then it does another 45 degrees as well. So if we do that again, the best way to think about it is, how do we get 90 degrees? It gives us to this corner, and another 45, the black should be facing to the right. Now, I'm just going to double check that's what's happening. It looks like it's the same thing here, and yeah, it's the exact same. So it's a 135 degree rotation on each of these. So it should be the black facing the right corner, which is option A. Question 29. Again, going left to right very clearly. If you see, it goes from one line and then to 2 lines, then to 3 lines. There should be 4 lines. Oh, yeah, it should be 4. Oh, sorry. This is what, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. This is 3 lines, 4 lines. It should be 5 lines now, which is option C. Question 30. This is going downwards, it looks like. You see, this shape comes out and becomes a big shape, and this shape comes out and becomes a big shape. So same with this, and so this should be the center shape, which is the circle, and the arrow up comes out and becomes the main shape, which is option C. Right, NVR series now. Again, we just have to look at what's going on from here to here, and then here to here, and here to here, right? So what's changing? Well, this arrow is moving along the hexagon. So on this one, it should be at the top. So we can cancel out these two. The circle is also moving along the hexagon, so it should be here next, which is option C. Question 32. This is just moving along as well. You can see it's rotating 45 degrees. So it's up here, and then it should be in the corner next, right? So that leaves us with these two options. It's also going black to white to black to white. It should be black next, which is option A. Question 33. We've got, let's look at from here to here. It's rotating 90 degrees, and also the diamond is switching to the left side. And same with here, it rotates 90 degrees and the diamond switches to the right side this time. So if we go backwards, it's also going to rotate 90 degrees just the other way. So instead of going clockwise, it's going to be anti-clockwise. So yep, they should be facing the bottom, these ones. This one, it can't be C because it doesn't have a diamond. And the diamond should actually be on this side now, when you're in here, right? Because it should be flipping. So it can't be A either because it's got 2 diamonds, so that's left with B. Question 34. This is just rotating 90 degrees and then also getting smaller. So it rotates 90 degrees, gets smaller, and then it gets bigger and doesn't rotate. Then it rotates 90 degrees, and to the left it looks like anti-clockwise and gets smaller. So I assume again this one should just not rotate but get bigger. But that doesn't seem to have happened, so it could be a different rule. What might happen is rotates at 90 degrees to anti-clockwise, right? So the black is on the left, and then maybe they switch. And then this one would be, first of all, we know it goes big, small, so this one has to be big, so we can cancel out these two. It shouldn't be A because there's no reason for us to think it would be diagonal, right? It's always been vertical or horizontal. So now I'm trying to think, yeah, I think it's going like this, with the black on the left, it's getting smaller, and then it's also flipping the colors of each, so that's why this has got black on the right, and then it rotates again. I'm not sure why this from here to here doesn't seem to. Maybe it's just this to this, right? Is big, smaller to bigger. Here to here is smaller to bigger. Maybe it's just that repeated over and over again. But that wouldn't be the answer actually. This is a tough one. Alright, so I can see it now. What's happening is a jumping pattern. So if you look at from here to here, it's just rotating 90 degrees. And here to here, it's just rotating 90 degrees anti-clockwise. And this one is just going to be rotating 90 degrees clockwise again, because we're just ignoring this small pattern, right? And that will give us E, because of course the black circle is going to be at the bottom and the white one's going to be at the top. Question 35 now. So this is just removing the right side, and then removing this, and then removing this. So likely going to remove this one next, so that should give us, looks like none of those. Oh yeah, there we go, option E is doing that. So if we think about why, or what the order of removal is, it removes the edge first, and then it just basically moves clockwise from there. So it removes this, and then it removes this, then it removes this next, and then it's just going to remove a diagonal next, right? And yep, that leaves us with option E as the answer. Good question 36. We've got 4 here, probably 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. So there should be 3 white circles here. And with the black circles, it goes black 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be 2 black circles, which these both have. Now the white circle should be at the top left, not the bottom left, so it can't be B either. So we're left with D. Question 37. If we rotate this, it's just rotated 90 degrees from here to here, then rotated 90 degrees again. There should be a 90 degrees rotation, so the arrows should be facing this way, the diamond should be here, the black bit of the L shape should be here, and you can see option B matches that. The rest of them do not. Sorry, my fault, actually. The black bit should be on the bottom. So option B doesn't match it, whereas option C does. And D doesn't because the diamond should be here. This is the wrong rotation, and this is also the wrong rotation. So we're left with option C as the answer. Question 38. This is just rotated again, so we've got it pointing like this way. It's rotated to here, and then to here, and then to here. Or I think it's not actually being rotated, I think it's just moving along. So this triangle is moving to here. So it's moving, it's skipping a space and moving. So it skips this, comes here, and skips this and comes here. So it should skip this and it should be here, and obviously the circle should be there. That is A. Just to check, it can't be D because of the lines, it's missing the lines. So yeah, A is the answer there. Question 39. This is again just rotated 90 degrees. 90 degrees, should be 90 degrees, it should be facing the right, at least this like sort of tip. So let's cancel these ones out. The diamond should be on the right side of it, meaning it should be down here now. So it can't be A, and it can't be E because it doesn't have the diamond, so option C. Last question now, question 40. The arrows are flipped from here to here and then flipped again, so they should be the same as this one, right? So let's cancel out any of them that don't look like that. Now what else is changing? There's a dashed line that's getting added, so it's just 1 here, and then it's 2, and it's 1, 2, 3, so it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, which is option D. Ken buys 3 large boxes and 2 small boxes of chocolate. Each large box has 48 chocolates. Each small box has 24 chocolates. So how many chocolates altogether did he buy? Well, if he bought 3 times large boxes and 2 times small boxes, 3 times 48 is 144, and 2 times 24 is just 48. And now if we add that together, what we'll get is 192. Option C. Okay, question 2. Tickets for schools for a school play cost £2.75 each. Dev sold 23 tickets each, so how you can do this is you can do long multiplication like this, so you get 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21, add the 1 is 22. 3 times 2 is 6, and then add the 2, that gives us 8. And 2 times 5 is 0. 2 times 7 is 14 or 15. And 2 times 2 is 4, add the 1 is 5 again. And what we get is 5 to 8 plus 5 is 13, and then 6. and the decimal point has to be 2 behind because you got 1 and 2, right? You got 2 points here. So 1, 2, and you got 63.25, which is option D. Question 3. Holly collected £77 altogether from selling tickets. How many tickets did she sell? So it's the same price tickets, £2.75. All we have to do is figure out how many times does £2.75 go into 77. So if I have, let me zoom in a bit so I've got a bit more space to do this. £2.75. Probably an easy way, because it's really difficult to do. I mean, if you want to do long division, what you have to do is you have to make this into a full number. So what you can do is you can add times this by 100 and times this by 100. So you get 275 into 7700. So you can do it like that. And what I think is easier to do is probably have a guess, right? So you've got 5 options here. Think about which one you probably think is right. So if you do 2 into 77, you need like 33, something like that, right? So it's going to be less than that because it's 275. So I think it's either going to be 24 or 28. So let's see if 24 times 2.75 actually gives us the correct answer. If you do long multiplication like that, you should get 66. And then you know then it has to be bigger than 24, and the only option we've got here is 28. So let's do 28 times 2.75, and that will give us 77. Again, long multiplication should be pretty simple. I just showed you how to do it here. You just do it like this, and then again you've got 2 decimal points, so you leave that, but I believe it will come out to a full number anyway. So question 4, choose the correct symbol in each box to make these statements correct. So this means the left is greater, this means the right is greater, and this is equal. So 11 times 12 is 121, this is 150, which is bigger. 90 divided by 30 is 3, this is also 3, so that is equal. 120 divided by 4 is 30, sorry, and this is 20, so the left is bigger. 30 times 8 is 240, and this is 1000, so the right is bigger. So we've got right equals left, right, right equals left, right, which is option B. Okay. Question 5. 9 dancers entered a dancing competition. Here are their marks. Alright, so the dancers who scored more than the mean of these marks were entered into the next round. Work out the percentage of dancers who entered into the next round. Okay, so what's happening here is we have to figure out the mean first, and then figure out, let's just go from there, right? So add all of these numbers together, what we'll get is 63. You can always do long addition like this. And what we can do from there is we just have to divide that by 9 to get the mean. So 9 into 63 is actually just 7. So that means the mean is 7, right? So anyone above 7 got through. So we can cancel out 2, 3, this and this. So we've only got 3 people that has actually got into the thing. So 3 out of 9 have got in. And if you are able to simplify that, you'll see that it's 1/3, which is basically 33.3%. Why is it 33.3%? Well, because if you think about how many, if you times 33.3 by 3, you'll get 100%, right? Which is the same as timesing 1/3 by 3 to get 1 whole, which is 100%. So that's sort of the similarity there. But that's the answer. Question 5 is D. Question 6, choose the numbers that are common factors of both 12 and 18. So, what number goes into both 18 and 12? Well, 6 goes into it. 2 goes into both of them as well. 3 goes into both because 3 times 4 and 3 times 6. 9 does not, and 12 does not. So you've got 2, 3, 6, which is option C. Right, here is an isosceles triangle. not to scale. Calculate the angle of x. So we know that all triangles add up to 180 degrees. X will therefore, well, if this is 110, we've got 70 degrees left to play with, basically. So you have to split it between these ones, because an isosceles has the same angles on these two. And obviously x is obviously equal to each other. So if we split 70, we get 35 and 35, which will be the answer to option A. The answer to question 7. Right, question 8. Here are two model boats on a centimeter scale. How far apart are the boats? Well, if we look at the difference here, we've got from 8 to 9.5. That's the actual distance between both boats. So we've got 1.5 centimeters there, which is option E. What is the difference? Again, you can count it like this, right? 1.5. What is the difference in the lengths of the two boats? So this one is from 5 to 8, which if you find the difference between 5 and 8 is 3 centimeters. And this one is 9.5 to 13.5, which is 4 centimeters difference. So the difference between both boats is 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter between 3 and 4. Question 10, 30% of 60 is, if you find out 10% is 6, then 30% is just going to be 3 times of that, which is 18. 30% of something is 60. Well, if 30% of something is 60, the something will be 100%, right? So let's figure out what let's set it up like this. So 30% is equal to 60, so how do we get down to 10%? Well, we had to divide by 3. So if we divide this by 3, we'll get 20. And then how do we get back up to 100%? Well, we have to times by 10. So we times this by 10, we'll get 200. So this is 200, which is C, 18, and 200. So again, you can check this as well by checking 30% of 200. So if you find 10%, it's 20, and 30% will be 60. So option C is your answer. A farmer is packing eggs. Each box holds 6 eggs. Farmer has 980 eggs to pack. So 6 eggs, there's 980 eggs to pack. How many boxes can the farmer fill? So how many times can we get 6 into 980? Well, if we do 6 into 98, it gives us around 16. 6 times 16 will give us 96. So if we minus that, we'll get 2 here, and we bring the 0 down, which will give us 20. 6 goes into 20 3 times, we'll get 18 here, and then we get that again, so 2 down here again. Now we've got nothing else to bring down, so we add a decimal point. Actually, there's no need. We just know it's 163 with a remainder of 2. So that means we can fill up 163 boxes of 6 eggs. And there's going to be 2 remaining eggs, basically. 980, sorry, egg. Yeah, no, there will be 2. Yeah, there'll be 2 remaining eggs. Alright, question 12. How many eggs will be left over? Oh, we just figured that out. The remainder was 2, so the answer will be A. Choose the numbers that add up to 100. Okay, this is quite simple. If we think about 16 plus 32 will give us 48, and then if we add that to 64, I think that'll go over. So let's think about 64 added to maybe 16, because that'll give us 80. And then all we need to do is figure out how we can get to 20, which I'm not sure we can do. Let's do 32 added to 16, 48, and then if we add 8, and that will give us 56, and then if we add 4, that will give us 60. There's no way to do that either. I'm thinking if we do 64 add 32, that gives us, oh there we go, 64 add 32 will give us 96, and if we add just 4 to that, that will give us 100. So 64, 32, and 4, which is option B. Question 14. Dev has a bag of 50p coins, Holly has a bag of 20p coins. So both bags have the same amount of money in. There are 35p, 50p coins in Dev's bags. 50 beacons. 20 beacons. So 30 times 50 will give us how many coins, or how much money he's got, which is 1,500, or basically £15. So we need to get 1,500 20s, right? How many has he got? We just do 20 divided by that, and that should give us, if we do 20 into 150, that will give us 77, sorry, I guess 140. And then if we minus that, it will give us 10. We bring the 0 down. We've got 100 here. 20 goes into 100 5 times. So 75 20p coins it ends up being 1500p. Okay, here is a clock. How many minutes is it until this clock shows 7:30? So right here is, this is between, so this is 6 p.m, this is 7. So this is 6:45 because it's not just yet on this 7, right? So how long until 7:30? It will be, so that's 15 minutes until 7 and 30 minutes until 30, so that's 45 minutes total until it shows 7:30. Question 16, what time will this clock show in 20 minutes? So if we add 10 minutes to it, it'll be 15:03, and if we add another 10 minutes, it'll be 15:13. So it should be B. Some children collect cans for recycling. Here is a chart of how many cans they collect in the first week. How many cans has Kevin collected? So Kevin has collected, it looks like this is 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So 12, 14, 16, so he's 15 is right here. So Kevin has collected 15, I believe. Wait, 10, 12, 14, 16, sorry, that should be 17 right here, which is option D. Question 18, Alice's target is to collect 30 cans. How many more cans does Alice need to reach her target? So Alice is on 12 cans right now, so that is 18 more cans that she needs to do before she reaches 30. Here are the start and finish times of some children doing a sponsored walk. How much longer did Claire take than Tim? So Claire, start time is 9:30, finish time is 10:55, which is 85 minutes total. And to Tim, that is 15 or 20, so that's 1 hour and 20, which is 80 minutes. So 5 minutes longer, basically. Cheddar costs £7.50 for 1 kg. Marie buys 200 grams of cheddar cheese. How much does she pay? So £7.50 is equal to 1,000 grams, or 1 kg. So to get to 200, we have to divide by 5. And if we divide 750 by 5, we should get, let's actually do that down here. 1, we get 5 down here, 2, and then we bring the 5 down, so 1.5, 0, yeah, 1.5. So £1.50 divided by, so times by 5 is actually equal to £7.50. Okay, question 21, cream cheese costs £3.60 for 1 kg. Robbie buys a pot of cream cheese for 90p. How many grams of cream cheese does he buy? So 300 and well, we can do the same thing here. How do we get to 360 to 90? Well, we actually just divide it by 4, sorry. And then we do 1 or 1,000 divided by 4 to get how many grams we've got. So this will be 250 grams, which is option A. Question 22. Angela, Barry and Charlie walk 48 miles in total for charity. The ratio of the number of miles walked by Angela to the number of miles walked by Barry is 3 to 5. So 8 miles more than Angela. So 48 total miles, and the ratio is 3 to 5. The difference to be 8. So what we can do is we can just figure out, obviously 3 to 5 is this, we can do 6 to 10, 12 to 20, so 12 to 15. What I'm doing here is I'm just timesing by 2, timesing by 3, etc, right? And we have to keep doing that until we find a difference of 8. So if we do this, we do 4, we'll get 12 to 20. There we go, that's the difference. That's probably the only one that, only two distances that they could be, 12 and 20. So Barry walks 12, Angela walks 20. Oh, sorry, Angela walks 12, Barry walks 20, and then Charlie will have walked the remainder, which is 32, it'll be 16. So Charlie walked 16. Now, to find out what that is, basically, that's just 16 out of 48, in terms of like what it will look like on the pie chart. So if we simplify this fraction, 8 goes into 16 two times, 8 goes into 48, I believe it's 6 or 7. Nope, 8 doesn't go into that. So what we can do is we can just do 2. We'll do 8, 2 goes into 16 8 times, and this 2 goes into 48 24 times. And now we're left with, oh, it does work. So we've got 1 over 3 basically. My mistake. Yeah, anyway, 1 over 3, and of course 1 over 3 of like a pie chart is quite simple to think about. We section it out. The total is 360. 1 over 3 is 120, so 120, 120, 120, right? So Charlie has got a whole 1/3 of the section. Okay, question 23 now. Bottle of milk, 39p, cake is 29p. Ben buys 3 bottles of milk, 6 cakes. How much did he spend altogether? So 3 times 39 and 6 times 29. So this is 119, and this one is 174, and now if we add those together, we'll get 293. So it was 3 times 39 and 6 times 29. So 6 times 29 is 174. 3 times 39 is 117. Now if we add those together, we'll get 291 or pence, or £2.91. Small peaches are 15p, large peaches are 25p. Emily spends £5, or has to spend £5 on peaches. He decides to buy only small peaches or only large peaches. So question 24 is, how many more small peaches than large peaches can she buy for £5? So how many times does 15 go into 500p, and how many times does 25 go into 500p? So 15 goes into 50, about, let's do 3 times, that'll give us 45. It gives us 5 down here, and then 50 again, and then it's 3 again, and we're left with a 5 remainder. 5p left, but she can buy 33 peaches total with £5. For 25, that goes into it 20, or 2 goes into it like this, and you just bring the 0 up, so basically she can buy 20 peaches. So the difference is 33 and 20 is 13, so the answer here is E. So you can buy 13 more peaches, small peaches. Question 25, how much less than 1000 is 9.7 times 9.8 times 9.9. So if we do, first of all, I prefer doing it one by one. This one's actually 95.06, and then we can times that by 9.9, and we'll get 941.096, 094, sorry. And if you minus that from 1,000, you'll get 59.906, option B. Question 26, 50 children need 1 pen each. Pens are sold in packs of 4. How many packs of pens need to be bought? So you need to go over, you can't have a remainder. So if you do 4 times, let's say 20, you'll have 80. That's too much. 4 times 15 will give us 60. That's too much as well. So we just need basically 2 less than that. So 4 times 13 will give us 52. And that's how many packs of pens we need. You can always just do divised, right? You can divide it and you'll get, I believe, 12 and remainder 2, and then what you just figure out is if there's a remainder you just need 1 more pack, which means 13. So the answer is D there. Question 27, the cost of using minibus is £1.36 for each kilometre. 8 friends go on a 114 kilometre journey. They share the cost equally. Okay, so let's figure out how much it'll cost. £1.36 times 114. Again, you just do this multiplication normally, and then what you have to do is you have to look at the decimal points. So there's 1 decimal point and two numbers behind the decimal point. So that means we have to go 1, 2, and that gives 155.04 is how much the minibus costed. Now if they're going to divide that by 8, you just do this, 155.04, and this is normal division up until you get to a decimal point. So let me just do that. 8 goes into 15 once, and that gives us 7. We bring the 5 down, 75. 8 goes into that 9 times, we get 72. 3, and we just move the decimal point to here, right? And then we continue normally. So we bring the 0 down. 8 goes into 30 3 times, that gives us 24. And we've got 6 here, and then we can bring the 4 down, and 8 goes into that 8 times, and we've got 19.38, which is the option C. Okay, question 28. Kate has some rectangles. They each measure 16 centimeters by 50 centimeters. So you can see it right here. She's made a design with 4 of the rectangles. Work out the lengths of X and Y. So we know this is 50 centimeters. We know this section is 16 because that's the bottom of this rectangle, right? So how long is this section? Well, it's going to be 50 minus 16 because you've already got 16 right here, and then up here is, from here to here is 50, right? You've already got 16 here, you just have to minus that. So this is 34. And now, what length is this? Well, this is 16 because it's the edge, right? It's this section. Now we have to figure out the length of X, right? Well, we know this up to here, from here, is 50, and then this is already 16, so this has to be 34. So the length of X is 34, and there's only one option that has that, so it is B. But if we look at also figuring out Y, it's going to be a similar thing, but this is just 16, this is 50, and then now we have to figure out how much this length is. So we know this is 50, and we know this is 16. That means this section right here is this whole section is 50, right? So what we could have done actually, to make it even simpler, is it's just 16, add 16, add 50 for this whole length. Which if you do that, 16, add 16, add 50, it's going to be 82, which is option B. Alright, question 29. These are prices of coconuts and bananas. Coconuts are 78p each, bananas are £1.20 for 1 kg. Josh buys 1 coconut and half a kilogram of bananas. So 0.5 kg of bananas. So that's half of this, which is 60p. Buys 1 coconut, which is 78p. If you add those together, what you'll get is 138p, which is £1.38. Oranges cost 25p each. How many oranges can Josh buy for £1.50? So 25 times 4 is £1, 25 times 6. The process of making chocolate. So chocolate is one of the most beloved treats in the world, enjoyed by millions of people daily. However, few people know the intricate process involved in turning raw cocoa beans into smooth, delicious chocolate that we savor. The journey from bean to bar is a complex one involving multiple steps that require precision, expertise, and time. This essay explores the process of making chocolate, highlighting each stage from harvesting to packaging. Okay, so we've got a whole thing here basically explaining how to make chocolate, I believe. Let's look at some of the questions to prime ourselves. So how long does fermentation of cocoa beans typically last? So we can look out for that. What temperature range are they roasted at? Alright, let's look at the first options. The first paragraph. The chocolate making process begins with harvesting of cocoa pods from cocoa trees, which are typically grown in tropical regions near the equator. The pods, which are large and colourful, contain precious cocoa beans. They are carefully cut and harvested. Each pod contains 20 to 50. Left to ferment for several days, 5 and 7 days. Here we go. It says ranging, beans are roasted between 120 to 150 degrees Celsius and for 20 to 30 minutes. So what were the first two options? 120 to 150 is the correct answer. How long does the fermentation process take? It says they are left to ferment for several days, typically between 5 to 7. So here we go, 5 to 7 days. Okay, question 3. Why is the fermentation process considered crucial in chocolate making? So basically it says this stage is essential as it greatly influences the final taste of the chocolate. So obviously if it's poorly fermented, it can be very bitter and bland. So it develops, it reduces the okay. It also says right here that the sugars in the pulp break down and allows the beans to begin to develop their characteristic chocolate flavor. So the sugars break down to a pulp and the beans develop their characteristic flavor, which is option B. Question 4. What could happen if the beans are not dried properly after fermentation? It says this step is critical. If they're not dried properly, they can become moldy, ruining the entire batch. So they become moldy and unusable is option B. Question 5. Why might the specific temperature and duration of roasting vary? Basically says the specific temperature and duration depends on the desired flavor profile. So obviously what depends on what type of flavor you're looking for, on how long you're going to roast it for. So question 5. Why might the specific temperature vary? Well, it's to develop different flavor profiles in the chocolate. So the cocoa mass is refined to develop a smooth texture and a rich flavor during conching. And right here that is option C, which is it refines the texture and flavor of the chocolate. So what is likely the result of improper tempering of the chocolate for question 7? It says proper tempering is essential for creating chocolate that has a glossy finish, a firm snap and a smooth mouthfeel. If it is not properly tempered, it can develop a dull appearance and a grainy texture. But like I said, it will not have a glossy finish. It's nothing to do with its bitterness or its flavor. It's all about its appearance for tempering. Question 8. Why is quick cooling necessary after roasting the beans? So this isn't directly mentioned in the passage. It just says that chocolate is poured into the molds to get its shape, and then the molded chocolate is cooled to solidify it. Of course, that means when it's being poured, it's a liquid, right? And then it's turned into a solid one when cooled. Actually, if we do come up to this section, drying and roasting, it does say after roasting the beans, they're cooled down quickly to stop the roasting process. So here, question 8, why is it quick cooling necessary after roasting beans? Well, it's to prevent it from roasting any further, so option B. Question 9, what could be the reason for inspecting the chocolate after moulding? There isn't any direct information on the passage on this, it just says after cooling, the chocolate is carefully removed from the moulds and inspected for quality. So if we're inferring from this, to ensure it has the correct temperature, that wouldn't make sense because actually it's solid now and temperature doesn't particularly matter, right? To ensure the cocoa content is accurate, that's not mentioned anywhere in the passage. And there isn't anything that's actually saying that checking that content is actually important, so we can cancel that out. To verify the chocolate has been properly fermented, now we can see fermentation is actually one of the first steps, right? So if they're checking and inspecting for that all the way down here, that wouldn't really make sense. So what we're left with is option B, which is basically to check for a firm snap and smooth texture, which makes sense because that's exactly what we've just had, right? We've just done tempering, which is for the firm snap and the smooth texture, and once you've done that, of course, you can inspect for that and make sure that you've done it correctly. Okay, question 10, why is proper packaging important in the final step? So it makes it look attractive to buyers, it protects the chocolate from moisture, it helps the chocolate to temper correctly, or it speeds up the drying process. So it says here, it not only preserves the chocolate, but also serves as a way to present the product attractively to customers. Now, that section is actually an add-on. So if you actually look at the entire paragraph, it says packaging is the important final step because it protects the chocolate from moisture, light and air. So that is why packaging is important. Now if we carry on, it says high quality chocolate is wrapped in foil and then in paper and cardboard, etc. And then it talks about why high quality chocolate is packaged in that way, because it does this and that, right? But if we're talking about packaging in general, the main reason is to protect it from moisture, light and air, which is option B. Which word in the text means important or essential? So important or essential, I'm sure you know the meaning of important. Bland would mean boring, so it's not that. Volatile means sort of hard to predict, or in chemistry terms, something that easily evaporates. And D, optional, means you have a choice, right? So B, crucial, is the best synonym there for important or essential. What is the meaning of the word refined as used in the text? So when you're refining something, it's making it more pure, more high quality, etc. So made in larger quantities isn't correct, made more common isn't correct, made less complex isn't correct. Relative pure and polished. Question 13, which sentence uses the correct form of the verb? Right, so the beans were roasted at 150 degrees. The beans was roasted, that's incorrect. The beans were, the beans is, the beans are roasted. Okay, so now what we've got here is the beans are roast, so this doesn't make sense. It needs to have an ed at the end. So we've got B as the correct answer here. Which sentence correctly uses the possessive apostrophe? So the chocolate's texture was smooth and creamy. This doesn't even have an apostrophe, so it can't be B. The chocolates, so that would mean multiple chocolates' texture. That also is correct, and the chocolate texture, that doesn't use an apostrophe again. So for that one, we're going to circle A and C, and we'll have this in the mock paper. Question 15. Next week, we will visit the Science Museum in London and enjoy the exhibits. So London here should have a capital L, so option C is the incorrect one here. Question 16. The coach asked, "Are you ready for the big game tomorrow?" Now this one should have a question mark here instead of a full stop because he's asking a question, and it says asked right here. It's okay to have a capital A here because it is his own statement that he's saying. and actually in quotation marks you should start with a capital letter unless you're quoting from a passage. Okay, question 17. We bought snacks, drinks, and invited all our 18. The students discussed their project, history, science, and literature during the group meeting. There's no issues there. This is an Oxford comma right here, and this colon, it would be better as a dash, but there's no real issue there, so we're going to choose none for that. Question 19. We visited the art gallery. It was an inspiring and educational experience. This is another one where there is no issue there. You're using the semicolon correctly because there's two independent clauses. And yeah, that leaves us with E, none. Question 20. The film received an award in the foreign language category, surprising many industry experts. So category here should have an E rather than an A. Question 21. Engineers worked to ensure the bridge was built parallel to the existing road safety. So parallel is spelt wrong there. It should have two L's, I believe, and no R. So if we type that out, it will look like this. That's what parallel should look like. Question 22. The football match became aggressive, with several players showing signs of frustration and anger on the field. There is no mistake there. Frustration is spelt correctly. Aggressive is spelt correctly. Choose E for that. Question 23. Persistent. Her persistent, there should be an E instead of an A. Efforts eventually paid off when she was recognised for the work for her community. So that's option A. Question 24. A valuable piece, so there should be P-I-E, of art was stolen from the art gallery. So that's option A. Okay. Question 25. The students something to complete their assignments before the deadline to avoid any late penalties. So the students manages, nope, that would have to be singular. Managing, the students manage to complete their assignments before the deadline to avoid any late penalties. That doesn't make sense in the context. Managed being past tense makes sense because it says because they've done something and they managed to do it to avoid. So this to avoid makes it so that D. Question 26. After the meeting, the manager urged the team to improve their performance for their next quarter. That's option A. The museum exhibit something detailed history of the Asian civilization that once flourished in this region. So the museum exhibit presented a detailed history of the ancient civilization that once flourished in this region. So presented, presentes, that isn't a word. By the time we arrive at the station, the train something left, so we missed it. The train had left, so we missed it because have left or has left or having left wouldn't work. Despite the heavy rain, the football match decided to continue, thrilling fans who braved the weather. So was decided to continue wouldn't have worked because it's despite the was decided, that doesn't work. This sentence would have had to be in past tense for that to work. And I think you'd also need to include, you'd have to say someone decided. Either way, A works there the best. Question 30. Had the weather conditions been favourable, the event would have been scheduled to proceed without any interruptions. Question 1. LR is to ON as NK is to something else. So with these ones, we have to look at how does the first letter change to this letter. So L goes forward by 3. So that means N is going to go forward by 3 as well to give us to give us Q. So it should start with Q, which should leaning towards E, and then R to N is going back by 4, and K would go back by 4 to give us G, which is QG. Okay, F goes to C backwards by 3, sorry, and then H will go backwards by 3 as well to give us E, which is leaning towards A, and then N to R is plus 4, so Y is going to go plus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should be C, so EC, option A. Okay, Y to T, this one is backwards by 5, so C is going to go backwards by 5, which will leave us with X. J to O is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forward. Therefore, B is going to go 5 forward to give us G, which is XG. Option C. Question 4. A goes 2 forward to C, so D will go 2 forward to F. X goes 3 forward to A, so G will go 3 forward to K. Sorry, X goes 3 forward to A, so G will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 to J. Okay, so option D should be the answer for this one, FJ. Question 5, V goes to T minus 2, so H will go minus 2 to F. C goes to F by plus 3, so F will go to W, sorry, W will go plus 3 as well, which gives us Z, which is the answer B. Question 6, W goes to B, which is plus 5, so the T will also go plus 5, which gives us Y. W goes to T by going minus 3, and then so that means L will go minus 3 to I, so Y, I. So that is option D as the answer. Question 7, F goes to U. Let's rub these out. F goes, that is plus 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, plus 15. So D will get added 15 as well. If we think of 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So it should go to S. Okay, it looks like there is no option here for S, so that means this must be a mirror code. So what I found is basically, if you look at F, or if you split the alphabet down the middle, you've got a mirror on each side. U is 6 letters in, F is 6 letters in, right? So it's a mirror. So that means if we use D, D is 4 letters in, so we have to go 4 letters into here, and that will give us W. So it should start with a W instead of an S. And and the I and the R is probably the same thing. So you can see I and R. This is what, like 4 away from the mirror line. This is 4 away from the mirror line, right? So that means, where were we? The C is also going to be a mirror. So that will be, if you mirror the C, it's 2 away from the start, so it's going to be 2 away from the end. That means we'll have X here. So WX is the answer for this one, which is option B. Okay, question 8. In these questions, the same letter will fit into both sets of brackets. To end the word in front of the brackets and start the word after the brackets. Write the letter in the brackets. So you can see, if you put a letter into here, it will make team and makes 2 different words. So immediately I can see, if we put T in here, we've got post and town, west and tile. So the answer here will be T. Rennet, I'm thinking lorry, but Renel doesn't work, and neither does Strel. But when I see EIRD, I'm thinking W here. So weird and straw, renew and worry. There we go, option D. Wood and dusk seems to work here. And then skid and duty, sorry. Duty if you type that out. Question 11, mean and able. It looks like the only thing that works here was is T, meant and table, and then snort and tough, so that would be option E. Life and foil, so if you think about tinfoil, right? Girl and lady, that works perfectly, option C. Mixed and dides, I don't know what dides means, so I don't think that's going to be one. Lower and reach, that works. Mixer and rides, that works, so we've got option D. Tulip and pause is what I'm thinking immediately. Scrap and plate, that works, option A. Okay, question 15 now. In these questions, put the correct answer in the brackets. Arrange the following words in alphabetical order. Question 20. In these questions, one letter can be moved from the first word to the second word to make 2 new words. And now you have to choose which word it will be, so write 2 new words, or mark the letter that moves the answer, moves on your answer sheet, right? So if you think about what's happening here, is you're marking E, and that is the one that is moving from here to make clan and smile. So what word can we take out of the left word and put it into the right? Well, if we take out L, we've got band, and if we put the L at the front, that will make us band and ledge, so option B. Okay, if we take out H, that will give us cart, and I'm not sure if we can actually put that in there, so let's try something else. Question 21. If you remove the H from here to get cart, you can put it into here to get chat, so we've got option B there. So it looks like if we remove the R, we'll get chat, and then if we put the R into here to get trier, that will work. So the option here should be D, and trier just means exactly what you will probably assume it means, someone who is trying quite hard. You can say this guy is a trier, right? Question 22. Let's take out let's take out the Y. That will give us part. See if we can put that in anywhere. Doesn't seem to work. So what we can do is we can take out the P to get RT, and let's see if we can fit that anywhere. Yep, so if we put the P into here, spire, so we got spire and RT. So A is the answer to that one. If we take out the Y here to get earn, we might have, doesn't look like it can fit in anywhere there, so let's try something else. We take out the N to get year. Lined, we'll get, if we put the N into right here, we'll get lined. So option E. Question 24. If we take off the C, we'll get heap. And if we put the C into here, we'll get scale. So we use option A here. Heart. If we take off the T, we'll get here. See, I don't think we can fit the T anywhere in there actually. So maybe if we, I'm trying to think of what words we can make here. Maybe print. Yeah, so if we take off the R, we'll get print over here and heat over there. So option D. Okay, question 26. If A is equal to 54, B is equal to 18, and C 37, etc., what is the sum of E plus D minus A? So E is 43, D is 29, and A is 54. We can just do this simple maths. This is 70, I believe 72 minus 54. And then if we do that, we should get 18 from that, which is option B. Question 27. D, which is 6 times E, which is 3, gives us 18. And if we add C to it, which is 18, that will give us 36, option A. Question 28. D divided by E, so 72 divided by 6 is 12. And if we add 19 to that, that should give us 31, option B. Question 29. So 4 times 8, which is 40, no, 4 times 8 is 32, and then if we basically have to, let's do D plus E, which is 32, and then you can minus whatever we had here. So what did we have? We had 30, we basically had, hold on, 8 plus 24 is 32, and D, which is 8 times 4, is 32. My mistake, what we have to do here, so with subtraction, as you know, BIDMAS, addition is in front of subtraction, but the actuality of this is that they're pretty much the same, right? It doesn't matter which one you do first, you have to do them in the order of left to right. So what we've got here is D times A, which is 32, and then we have to minus the D, which is 8, and that will give us 24, and then we can add 24 to that, which will give us 48. So the option here should be B, rather than doing 32 minus 32, which, just be careful with BIDMAS, just because addition is in front of subtraction in BIDMAS. Try and remember that they're actually the same, and it basically matters. You have to go left to right with addition and subtraction, right? So, question 30, final one. If A is equal to 4, and B is equal to 12, C is equal to 0, 8 is equal, and then 16, D times A, which is 8 times 4 is 32, and then we can minus 16 minus 16, which ends up with 0. Question 20. In these questions, one letter can be moved from the first word to the second word to make 2 new words. And now you have to choose which word it will be, so write 2 new words, or mark the letter that moves the answer moves on your answer sheet, right? So if you think about what's happening here is you're marking E, and that is the one that is moving from here to make clan and smile. So what word can we take out of the left word and put it into the right? Well, if we take out L, we've got band, and if we put the L at the front, that'll make us band and ledge, so option B. Okay, if we take out H, that'll give us cart, and I'm not sure if we can actually put that in there, so let's try something else. Question 21. If you remove the H from here to get cart, you can put it into here to get chat, so we've got option B there. So it looks like if we remove the R, we'll get chat, and then if we put the R into here to get trier, that will work. So the option here should be D, and trier just means exactly what you'll probably assume it means, someone who is trying quite hard. You can say this guy is a trier, right? Question 22. Let's take out let's take out the Y. That will give us part. See if we can put that in anywhere. Doesn't seem to work. So what we can do is we can take out the P to get RT, and let's see if we can fit that anywhere. Yep, so if we put the P into here, spire, so we got spire and RT. So A is the answer to that one. If we take out the Y here to get earn, we might have, doesn't look like it can fit in anywhere there, so let's try something else. If we take out the N to get year, lined we'll get, if we put the N into right here, we'll get lined. So option E. Question 24. If we take off the C, we'll get heap, and if we put the C into here, we'll get scale. So we use option A here. Heart, if we take off the T, we'll get here. See, I don't think we can fit the T anywhere in there actually. So maybe if we, I'm trying to think of what words we can make here. Maybe print, yeah, so if we take off the R, we'll get print over here and heat over there, so option D. Okay, question 26. If A is equal to 54, B is equal to 18, and C 37, etc., what is the sum of E plus D minus A? So E is 43, D is 29, and A is 54. We can just do this simple maths. This is 70, I believe 72 minus 54, and then if we do that, we should get 18 from that, which is option B. Question 27. D, which is 6 times E, which is 3, gives us 18. And if we add C to it, which is 18, that will give us 36, option A. Question 28. D divided by E, so 72 divided by 6 is 12. And if we add 19 to that, that should give us 31, option B. Question 29. So 4 times 8, which is 40, no, 4 times 8 is 32, and then if we basically have to, let's do D plus E, which is 30, 2, and then you can minus whatever we had here. So what did we have? We had 30. Oh, we basically had, hold on, 8 plus 24 is 32, and d, which is 8 times 4, is 32. My mistake. What we have to do here, so with subtraction, as you know, BIDMAS, addition is in front of subtraction, but the actuality of this is that they're pretty much the same, right? It doesn't matter which one you do first, you have to do them in the order of left to right. So what we've got here is d times a, which is 32, and then we have to minus the d, which is 8, and that will give us 24, and then we can add 24 to that, which will give us 48. So the option here should be B, rather than doing 32 minus 32, which, just be careful with BIDMAS, just because addition is in front of subtraction in BIDMAS. Try and remember that they're actually the same, and it basically matters. You have to go left to right with addition and subtraction, right? So, question 30, final one. If a is equal to 4, and b is equal to 12, c is equal to 0, 8 is equal, and then 16, d times a, which is 8 times 4 is 32, and then we can minus 16 minus 16, which ends up with 0.